It should come as no surprise that nearly every culture has a deity that represents this universal emotion. Welcome to Msmojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 love goddesses from mythology.
How can you not see it? My face looks like a Roman road map.
Oh, well, I really can hardly see it.
You can see it!
No.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at goddesses from various cultures that stand for either romantic, familial, or platonic love.
To you.
To us.
Number 10. Sjofn.
I'm Balder, reborn.
I'm the goddess Sjofn. Snotra, hello.
Most people have heard of Norse gods like Thor and Odin, but one of the lesser-known deities in this belief system is their goddess of love. Not much is known about Sjofn, and pretty much the only source of information we have about her is a 13th century document, Prose Edda, which was written by Snorri Sturluson.
Sjofn, goddess who goes both ways.
Apparently the goddess wasn't going anywhere.
Some even posit that Sjofn was actually Frigg, the goddess typically depicted as Odin's wife, simply operating under a different name. Strangely, there is a second love goddess in Norse mythology, Loven, who is the champion of the oddly contradictory themes of forbidden love and arranged marriages. Number 9. Frigg.
He kept the truth from you so that you would never feel different. You are our son, Loki, and we your family.
This Germanic goddess is more commonly known as being the purveyor of foreknowledge and wisdom. But as one of the primary female deities in the Norse tradition, she is also associated with love.
We mustn't lose hope that your father will return to us. And your brother.
This goddess goes under several different names, being referred to as Freyja in Old High German and Freyja in Old English. In fact, the word Friday is actually derived from her name, originally being known as Freyja's Day. And as we've mentioned, Frigg is the wife of Odin and is also mother of the god Baldur. Number 8. Rati. Oh, we ain't talking about love. Rati is the goddess of lust and sexual pleasure in the Hindu tradition, and is generally depicted as the romantic and sexual partner of the god of love, Kama. In fact, Rati's origin story is that she rose from the sweat of the Vedic deity known as Daksha. In Sanskrit, many of the names for sexual positions and sexual acts take their names from this goddess. The etymological root of her name is the Sanskrit word ram, which means to enjoy or delight in something. So if you're looking for some divine improvements in the bedroom, this might be the goddess to talk to. Number 7. Freyja.
Freyja.
Live, my lover.
The Norse might be known for being warriors, but they seem to have some love to go around as well.
I dislike doing this as much as you, but if it's not done now, it gets trickier. Doesn't it?
Though scholars have debated whether this Norse goddess and the Germanic goddess Frigg were originally one and the same, the two cultures have separated the two figures and given them distinct characteristics.
So which gods were Mum and Dad?
Mum was Freyja, goddess of prosperity.
Freyja is an all-encompassing goddess in Norse mythology, representing not only love but also sex, fertility, war, death, and beauty. Freyja is prevalent in Scandinavia, and as the centuries have worn on, her name has become considered a counterpart to the Roman goddess Venus. She's even mentioned in the Danish national anthem. Number 6. Hathor.
Don't tell anyone. I have a bad reputation to keep.
One of the most prominent figures in the Egyptian pantheon is the goddess Hathor. She represents feminine love and fertility, and was often seen as the figure who would aid women during childbirth.
How can the goddess of love not know what love is?
It's not betting any girl who flutters her eyelashes. Mighty lion slayer.
She also held the role of Mistress of the West, who would usher the dead into the next phase of their existence.
I'm really not in the mood to argue. Go get it for me. I command you.
In a tradition that's common in Egyptian mythology, the deity's forms and roles were ever-changing. So while sometimes Hathor was depicted as Ra's mother, she was also sometimes shown as his wife, and other times, his daughter.
He offered his life.
Because he thought he could save her.
He believes what he wants to believe.
You've been blind in more ways than one.
Number 5. Parvati. In the Hindu tradition, it's not uncommon for one god or goddess to go by many different names depending on the aspect of their person that's being represented. The goddess Parvati is a well-known example of this, acting as the goddess of love and fertility, but also of strength and power.
The Guru Gita is an ancient text, 182 verses long. In it, the goddess Parvati is asking Shiva, or God, for the secrets of fulfillment.
She sometimes takes the form of Shakti, the divine being who represents feminine power. She's also married to Shiva, who is known as, quote, destroyer of evil and the transformer. The legend of Parvati has spread even beyond India, with depictions of the goddess being found throughout Asia. Number 4. Ishtar. While many of the cultures that originated the myths we're looking at today have continued to thrive and evolve throughout history, this one is settled staunchly in the past. Ancient Mesopotamia declined as the advent of Christianity took place in the period that ranged from the 1st to the 5th century of the Common Era. But at the height of Mesopotamia's importance, one of the primary figures worshipped in the culture was Ishtar, the goddess of love and beauty. And like many of the goddesses on our list, she also represented the counterparts of war and power. Number 3. Xochiquetzal. Her name may be tricky to pronounce, but once you get that figured out, Xochiquetzal is an interesting figure from Aztec mythology worth getting familiar with.
The Aztec. Who can resist a shaman?
Also known as Ichpochtli, which means maiden, this goddess protects pregnant women and aids with fertility, as well as representing love and female sexuality. She stands for humanity's physical desires and is typically shown as a young and beautiful woman. Her name is a compound word that can be interpreted in several ways, with Xochitl meaning birth and Quetzali meaning precious feather. Number 2. Venus.
Who are you?
I am Venus, daughter of Jupiter, goddess of love.
Popular in art and pop culture, Venus is definitely one of the best-known goddesses in the historical pantheon. Venus was created by the Romans as an adaptation of the Greek goddess Aphrodite, which is why the two figures share so much in common. In fact, this is the case for many of the Roman deities. Like Aphrodite, Venus represents romantic love and sexuality, as well as fertility and beauty. There's definitely an emphasis on her more sensual powers though, with the original word Venus in Latin literally meaning sexual love or desire. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. Number 1. Aphrodite.
I'm Aphrodite, the goddess of love. Temples are my kahunas, the way I know whether I'm happening or not.
In the poem Theogony by Hesiod, Aphrodite's somewhat repulsive origin story was outlined. She was apparently born of the sea foam that formed after Cronus cut off Uranus's genitals.
I'm here with Aphrodite, the former goddess of love.
The Iliad, however, has her as the daughter of Zeus. She's the goddess of love and fertility, and her association with the planet Venus is what inspired the name of the Roman goddess of similar qualities. She was known for having many lovers, both in fellow deities and mere mortals. She is therefore, without a doubt, the most iconic of all the goddesses of love.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from Msmojo and subscribe for new videos every day.